Broncos country, what is going on, man? The Broncos playoff opponent is set, and I am joined by my good friend Jeremy to break down all the news of the 2025 rematch. Broncos and Bills, but this time the game is going to be in Denver, and it is um, confirmed officially that we're going to have the game on Saturday, but the time is yet to be announced. But Jeremy,
Is
just
that
your
right?
quick thoughts overall, man. What are your thoughts about the Broncos' first opponent, and how you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to spend too much energy like hoping and wishing and praying it was this team or that team or whatever. It's gonna be who it's gonna be. If you're gonna be a champion, you're gonna have to beat some really good teams. There's not what kind of champion would you be otherwise, right? So
Yeah, 100%.
that's the way. I mean, you earned what you can to get the best possible advantage going into. We didn't have to play this weekend. Nobody got hurt that I'm aware of today or
Yeah.
or tomorrow or yesterday, right? So
Yep.
like those are all good things. Um and yeah, and I know people kind of have this boogeyman kind of feeling about the Bills or could have had it about the Ravens or the Chiefs or whoever you want to say, the Chargers or whoever. But it's just like if this team is special, then they're gonna have to prove they're special. So if we I think this team is better than that team. At home, we should win, but it might not go that way, and it'll be what it is. But it's just I don't know. It's fun to watch these games, but like a part of me is like, man, I really want to be playing too. You
I
know?
know. I know. No, I felt the same way, man. But overall, I mean, so far, dude, I felt like the games were awesome. I think tonight's game was really boring with the Chargers and the Pats. But what were your thoughts before we get into the Broncos Bills, like just overall about all the games so far this weekend? Because I thought it was a fun weekend of football, man.
That Panthers Rams game was insane.
Insane.
Kudos to the Panthers. Like it took everything the Rams had to beat them, which
Yeah.
nobody was thinking that was going to happen. And then the
Yep.
Packers absolutely collapsing and choking. And
Big time.
it's more than just McManus. Like it was definitely McManus, but like you cannot be giving up just gash after gash after gash on defense in the second
Yeah.
half, and then not
Yeah.
score and after you're up 18 in the by at halftime. It's just that's a full team collapse.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. It was crazy. Like I was surprised by just how like conservative they got, right? And I felt like they were conservative in the times where they should have been aggressive, and then they got really aggressive in the times where they should have been conservative. It was the weirdest thing. But kudos to the Bears, dude. Like, I mean, they kept fighting back. They've kind of been doing that all year.
Mhm.
I thought Caleb Williams was up and down most of the game, but he had an unbelievable play on fourth down that kept it going. That was just a fun game. What about today's games? What about the initial one with the Jags Bills? I thought that game was legit.
That game was great, and the Jags were real, man, and I knew they were real. Like people were like, "Oh, don't I hope that, we don't have to play the Bills." It's like the Jags are the only team that legitimately beat us this year. The only
Yeah,
team. And they
yeah,
did it at home. So like they wouldn't been nervous. Like I like our chances playing a team twice, right? And I think we kind of
yep,
were vanilla against them a little bit, but they're legit. And it was more of like the Jags had like the vibe of like their whole like this is our team, this is our year, this is all that's hard to sometimes you just can't overcome stuff like that too. So like I knew one of them was going to lose. It happened to be the Jags, and what I liked about that game was like, both teams. Like that was a tough game. Like Josh Allen took some shots in that game. He was beat up. I mean, he had knee, he had concussion looked at, he had finger looked at,
yeah.
and now he's going to play on a short week on the road. So like,
Yeah, he had
here
a
we
right
go.
foot injury. I think he's got a foot,
Yep,
a hand, a knee.
yep.
That dude's a warrior, man.
Mm-hmm. And
He
then
is he is a warrior. But yeah, I felt like that game, dude. That game was so good. I felt like it was just one of those where, uh, I mean, Josh Allen made no mistakes. He made the big plays, but he didn't make any mistakes. The couple mistakes that the Jags made, the Bills just did a really good job of converting them. I mean, completely opposite of the Chargers, which was just a putrid performance. But like, they win the turnover battle. They get two picks, one of them inside the 10-yard line, and they come up with 0 points.
Yep.
Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. But yeah, I mean, this Buffalo team, I will say, and we'll get into it, but I will say, like, you're kind of getting them in the best possible situation because they're more beat up now.
Right.
1 week later, right? Gabe Davis sucks for him, man. I was kind of gutted for him because
Yeah.
it sucked that he had that injury. Just finally made it back. Had a nasty little injury, but like that's that was a tough test for them. So they're gonna have to come back in. Yes, just like you said, on a short week for them, and it's crazy, man. We get like a do over from last year, but it's flipped
Mm-hmm.
now, and
Right.
it's here in Denver. So I guess initial thoughts. Maybe we'll focus on the Broncos defense versus the Bills offense. What do you feel like just initially, maybe without diving into it too much? I don't know if you have or not. You can dive in as much as you'd like, but
Okay.
what do you feel like the initial keys to the game for you are, or some matchups that we have to make sure that we are on our P's and Q's for?
So I'm sorry, you said the Bills defense or offense?
Bills offense versus Broncos defense.
Okay. I mean, let's just like the thing that crushed us last year was not actually Josh Allen. It was stopping the run game.
Yeah.
And they like that's what if we do that, I mean, Josh Allen absolutely positively can beat you anytime. That's not a question, but at the same time, like this team has overcome the best defense in the league, the best offense in the league, both teams that were in the Super Bowl, all that stuff. Well, now we got to play the best quarterback in the league probably this year, even though, he's not an MVP candidate, but you're going to have to go through that. And you cannot make life easier for Josh Allen if you do not stop the run. So I honestly think like if we've learned our lesson from last year, it's like you have to shut that down. And what does this team weaknesses tend to be? It tends to be running backs and tight ends
Mm-hmm.
on defense. So like you got to watch Dalton Kincaid. They were faking a lot of stuff, him blocking and then throwing it to him. Like I know Josh Allen loves to throw at that guy. So that's the keys to me. I mean, you're gonna have probably PS2 on Diggs or whoever, and now they have Cooks, who's a little, Marvin Mims type guy who Sean Payton is very familiar with because he had him in New Orleans. But yeah, I think it's first and foremost stop the run, and on third down, it's probably going to be Josh Allen with his legs doing something. Like
Yep.
that's what it always tends to be. So like
Yep.
no arm tackling anybody, no any of that. Like this, you cannot get beat like that because
Yeah.
you know better. And you've seen it last year. It's interesting historically because it's like the Broncos lost to Jacksonville in 96, and that was the gutting loss that propelled them to the Super Bowl the next year.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, who did they have to play in the playoffs? It was Jacksonville, get over that like mental hurdle from the year before. Kansas City, who won the division and beat you on a last second field goal in the regular season. Steelers, who beat you in the regular season. Then it's Green Bay, who basically represented the NFC that you could never get past. So it was like this constant like revenge tour. And that's
Yep.
kind of how this is starting for us. It's like, okay, we in the season handled the Chiefs. We've won the division. We did all those things. The one team we didn't play this season was the Bills, and we owe them one from last playoffs. And honestly, like we missed a field goal right before half, and we made some simple mistakes that like let that game get away from us. But I hope these guys are like remembering exactly the feeling of walking off the field in Buffalo. And Buffalo is not exactly stellar on the road in the playoffs. Like this was their first win they've ever
Yep.
had on the playoffs. So like that's an advantage too, and altitude of course. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be a bigger, like a much tougher test, not just because of the altitude, but like there was about 30-40% Bills fans there in
Oh yeah.
Jacksonville.
Oh yeah.
That place was rocking, but the Bills, not, I mean, they travel really well, but that's not as far of a travel. And ironically enough, like I said, some of my best friends are Bills fans. They actually might fly out for the game, so I'll be able to see them next weekend. But they got a lot of family members and friends that moved down to Jacksonville, and they say like in Florida, there's a lot of Bills fans down there too. So there's a bigger presence, whereas they're not going to travel to Denver like they were. That crowd noise is going to be crazy. So I like the advantages there. But I think you nailed it on the head, man. Like in terms of stopping the run, the way the game plan that the Jags had today, I thought was perfect in terms of what the Broncos need to do, because the Jags were number one in the NFL against the run. The
Mhm.
Bills are the number one rushing team. I thought, man, are they going to be able to hold up? Because Buffalo's a big physical team and Jacksonville's kind of light, and they did a great job. And they forced Josh Allen to like be perfect and make those plays. And so you got to make this team one dimensional, because if they start eating you, man, on the ground like they did last year with Cook and with Ty Johnson or Ray Davis, whoever ends up being the other running backs, and obviously Josh Allen, it's going to be hard. But if we're able to stop the run and match up one on one, I think it gives us a really good chance. Especially, man, we got to put PS2 on Khalil Shakir. I've kind of made that decision from now. I'll look into it more. But
Yeah.
Khalil Shakir is like, he's the engine that gets that pass game going. He had 12 catches on 12 targets today.
Right. Yeah.
And he just kind of kept things rolling for him. And so figuring that out. But I think the biggest defensive X factors are going to be Greenlaw and Hufanga. Ironically, the guys that have the playoff experience and the Super Bowl experience. Mainly because stopping Josh Allen from running and covering those tight ends. So it's going to be interesting to see what the plan is going to be like. But we need to hit Josh and hit him often as possible. On the flip side, man, what is this offense got to do, right? It's kind of funny because the Bills are number one in the league in pass defense, and they're like worst or among the worst in running and rush defense. But the Broncos don't run the ball very well. So how do you attack that?
Well, you saw it from pretty much all the quarterbacks this weekend. It's like if their first couple reads aren't open, you run. And that's what Bo Nix has been doing since day one he's gotten here. So like, and he's faster than most of those guys too. Like he'll run away from linebackers. So Bo has been very, very like savvy and smart with running the football this year and kind of like not doing it too often, not relying on it too much. And now that it's the playoffs, I have a feeling he's about to like take off a lot more. And the smart thing is take off with your eyes open downfield. And if they're so worried about you running, you might find some guys open, behind the defense because they're so like, oh, we can't let Bo Nix run. We can't let Bo Nix run. Now, RJ Harvey and Jaleel and Bidet, if Dobbins is still out, then it's time to step up even more. And the one thing, well, there's two, but like the two main things that this team really needs to add this offseason is just a big, strong, great tight end. I mean, that's easier said than done. We've been wanting that for the last couple of years, but a bigger running back because these are the playoff games is like when you have to fall forward, you have to get those extra hard yards. You have to do all this kind of thing. So you can't let Harvey and McLaughlin like be tackled immediately. Like you have to get the extra stuff. You have to fall forward. You have to do the little things like that. You have to, the wide receivers need to block, which they've done a good job of for the most part. You're going to have to do that. You're going to have to like milk as much as you possibly can to help Bo. And then and hopefully he'll be seeing things clear. He'll have the crowd behind him. That's why you fought so hard for the number one seed. And it's time. It's just, this is what it's all built up for. And you have no excuses because you've had time off and should be ready to go. And
healthy.
I like Sean Payton on 2 weeks looking at an opponent. Like I have a feeling Sean's kind of been keeping stuff like close to the vest for a while. So,
oh yeah, no doubt.
It's going to be really interesting to see how he attacks them.
No, I agree, man. And yeah, it's a good strength on strength because I felt like the Bills kind of struggled generating pressure. They kind of got to Trevor Lawrence today, but even they didn't have their starting left tackle. They had a bunch of, kind of band-aided pieces on their O-line, and I felt like they did a good job. Our O-line should be able to protect Bo really well and should also be able to generate runs. But the only thing I'm worried about is, the game, if maybe we find ourselves behind or, we have to kind of come back and make a drive and it's still early in the game. Like, I don't want to go away from the run entirely or have this mindset that like, oh, we don't feel confident that we can establish some sort of a run game. I think we can have success running the ball against them. And And I think we're gonna have to. We're gonna have to have a similar offensive game plan like we did against the Packers, where it was mainly under center, running the football, play action pass, beating the zones. They play a lot of zone as well, and and yeah, I mean I think we got a chance, but it might boil down to who's got the ball in their hands last, and we
Yep.
just hope that the
Could.
the ball is not in the hands of Josh Allen. But I'm excited, man. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's gonna be an awesome game. Um, Speaking of like deja vu or like how kind of history repeats itself, it was so crazy to me watching the first half of the Bills Jaguars game. It was
Mhm.
the exact same score and felt exactly like the Broncos Bills last year game in the wild card. And
Mhm.
it was 10-7 and they kick a 50-yard field goal, the Jags, and they hit it off the post exactly
Yep.
like Will Lutz did.
Yep.
And they go into the half at 10-7, which is the exact same score. It was like wild to me.
Mhm.
And so I think one thing that the playoffs so far has taught me is like, or at least from what we've seen in the first week of games, is anytime you have an opportunity to take points, just take them.
That's right.
So
That's what I
many
was about to
coaches
say.
were like going for it on fourth in the red zone. Just take the points and kind of see how the game goes and adjust from there. But
Yep.
you got to be able to make sure you get those little things right for sure. And turnovers didn't seem to be as important in this week's games as it did maybe in others. But no, you're definitely going to want to see what you can do from a turnover standpoint as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think teams are going into this like, is this going to be a shootout game or is this going to be a close game? And we need points to compete, like da, 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 so we got to go for 7, not 3. But it's like, man, it's the playoffs and everything's way tighter, where everything's way smaller. Like, if you can get points, get points. The Chargers made that mistake earlier in that game. They should have been up 3-0, and they went for a touchdown, didn't get it, and now it's a real momentum is so important in
Big
sports in
time, man.
general, but like playoffs, my goodness, don't give up the momentum for no reason.
Yeah.
Like if you can kick 3 and do that, like do that. I mean, of course, if you're behind and you need to catch up, but like other than that, if it's a tight game, like take the points, put the pressure on the other team. Like,
I, yeah. I think especially on that turnover, man, because like it was such a momentum swing to get it. And then by you getting stopped and scoring nothing, not only do you flip the momentum back, you gave them more momentum than before the interception even. It was like everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Like when that happened, I was like, oh my goodness. Like that's a
yep.
big turning point in the game. And even though it was really early, like, dude, you did all that work. You got the ball on like the 8-yard line for 0. It's insane.
Mhm.
It's insane. At least if you get 3, you feel like, all right, we got something going. Defense is a little bit pumped. But then the defense comes out all deflated. And what happens? One play that goes 50 yards, right?
Yep.
Flip the field and the whole game. It's just it's a different game. So, man, I'm excited for the rematch. I think for me, like Buffalo is probably the least like the last opponent that I wanted to play if you're looking at it that way. But I kind of had the
Mhm.
same mindset as you of like we can't control anything when it comes
Yeah.
to the Broncos, obviously, right? But we certainly cannot control the schedule that we have. Some people say Broncos played a really easy schedule. Hey, it ain't our fault, even though I disagree with that narrative.
Yeah.
And same kind of thing here. So you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, and this is an opportunity for Bo Nix's legacy to really begin, right? He'll be known as like the quarterback that beat Josh Allen in the playoffs. That's not named Patrick Mahomes. Um, Sean Payton, all those things. I mean, you want to build legacies. Games
Yep.
like this have to happen. So I'm really pumped up about it. Anything else particularly stand out to you, or maybe any comments that you wanted to address, if there's anything in the chat as well?
I just looked at these games and the teams that like prevailed are the ones that didn't panic. They didn't like they got behind and they were like, okay, well, just deal with it. Don't be like, oh crap, we're behind. Now we got to do extra stuff or do this and that. And you just gotta like these games are roller coasters, man. And you just have to like ride it out. And sometimes it's gonna be stormy, sometimes it's gonna be calm. Like, and you can't just give away opportunities either. Like, if don't miss field goals, don't miss extra points.
Yep.
If you get a turnover, get points out of it. If you don't be cavalier with it. Like you have to be like now is the time when you have to be on point for everything, right? And there's no easy games ever in the playoffs, but like it's second round now. Like we fortunately didn't have to play the wild card round, so now it's going to be Bills, and then if it's not them, or after that, if we win that game, then it's probably Patriots and Houston most likely. So one of those two. So it's not going to be easy, and then whoever's going to represent the NFC is going to be tough too. So like, just strap in, one game at a time, one play at a time, and just don't leave anything where you're like, oh, I wish I would have done that. Like that one
Yeah.
play you were talking about, that 50-yard play that they stopped the Chargers on the fourth down and they rip off a 50-yard play. That was only because Kyle Williams went over there and blocked that guy and it ripped off a 50-yarder. Like it's those little things in the playoffs that
Mhm.
everybody's got to swarm, punch out, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, it's going to be big. I mean, I think tackling is going to be really, really big this week because they're going to try to do the screen games. You saw a lot of that today. Leaving guys out on the island, so they're going to have to be really, really disciplined there. I'm just really happy too, man, that we had the experience that we had last year. I know nobody really thought we were going to go to the playoffs. It was just a big bonus. And that game, that experience, even though it resulted in ultimately was a blowout in Buffalo, I think we all felt like it was so good and so important to get that game under our belt for these exact opportunities. Because now
Yep.
it's like, is the game going to be too big for you? I don't necessarily think it will because you have that experience. It will be different at home, but I think it'll be different in a good way. Because man, we're going to be. I mean, it's going to be disruptive, and if we're able, I'll tell you what, man, the Bills are they're definitely vulnerable when it comes to stopping the run, and if somehow the Broncos are able to have success running and pounding it,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to be exhausted come fourth quarter. That's what I remember always the most with all the Super Bowl teams that we had, 97, 98, and
Yep.
2015. Like by the fourth quarter, teams didn't want to, you could just tell they didn't want to tackle you anymore. They were
Mm-hmm.
done. You see them on the sidelines gasping for the oxygen. I want that kind of energy. That's the kind of stuff that I want to see this upcoming week.
Yeah,
Um,
and what's kind of great about it being the Bills too is in what world is the number 1 seed gonna be looked at as an underdog against a 6 seed on the road? Like, it's just never usually would never happen, right? But this year, I guarantee you the trendy pick from all the national media will be the Bills. So, that's perfect for us because put more pressure on them, take less pressure on us, and you're gonna have the crowd behind you, and just don't try to win everything in the first drive or two. Like, just settle in. It's gonna be a long day, and just stand there and be like, I'm gonna take all shots, and I'm still gonna be left standing. That's the mentality, right? Because you're not gonna be able to like solve it in the first quarter. Don't get your energy too high or too low. You just got to stay calm. And that's another thing why I like Sean Payton. Sean Payton's been there before. If there's someone to lean on right now for what we're about to go through, it's him because he's seen everything. He's done it on home, he's done it away. He understands how to, I don't want to say manipulate, but like he, drive the mentality of our football team. And so I think we'll be ready to go. And, when you're first in it, like last year against the Bills, once you'll miss that field goal, they come out and score after half, and then we get a quick stop, and then off of a drop, and then they score again, and now you're down 17, and like, oh crap. Just, let's have a good plan to start the game and then just settle in. I think we'll be fine. I think if this game is close in the fourth quarter, I like our chances. I honestly do.
yeah,
But you just don't want to let Josh Allen beat you at the buzzer. But
exactly
that's
right.
all,
Well, this is shocking here, man. The Broncos, per Mike Klis, they opened up as a 1.5 point favorite. I think that line will change for
Mhm.
sure. But I always like to see the line because it tells you like, I don't. Are you familiar with how they set the lines? Like they do. I think it's like 10 billion scenarios.
Oh,
It's
no, I
pretty
didn't know
crazy.
that.
Like they
Okay.
put it in a system. It does like 10 billion scenarios with like everything and numbers that they know and history and healthy and all that kind of stuff. And they said it. So that's why they're usually pretty damn accurate and close.
Mm.
And so the fact that they got us as favorites, I mean, even at home, it's pretty telling that maybe, Vegas isn't as low on the Broncos as the national media is, but I hope all week, I'm praying all week, the national media just talks about Josh Allen and the Bills and picks them and hypes them up because I feel like that's really when we've always been at our best.
I
So
agree.
I'm certainly hopeful of that, and we're gonna see, man. It's gonna be
But they
fun.
say home field advantage is worth 3 points, right? So if we're opening up as
Now,
a 1.5 point favorite, then they're actually picking the Bills as that 1.5 point favorite if it was a
yeah,
neutral field.
I have heard that that's not actually the case. It's not
Mm,
exactly 3 points anymore. I don't know how true it is, but because home field advantage has actually not been as advantageous like over the last 5 to 10 years as it
mm.
was previously. So they've kind of adjusted that. But yeah, that's always been kind of a rule of thumb. So yeah, if this was at a neutral site, it'd be a 1.5 point for the Bills. But
Right.
essentially, it's like a 50-50 game,
It's pretty
you know.
close. Yeah.
So and I view it that way as well. It really is. For me, I look at it like I think the Broncos have a better team overall. The big thing about the Bills is that they have, in my opinion, the best quarterback in the NFL. They just have an absolute Superman that through injury and all that kind of stuff. I mean, he still balls out, but
Yeah.
got to do what we got. The guy do what we got to do. We lead the NFL in sacks. I think we only had one sack against them last year, right? I think it was
That's
DJ
it. I can't
Jones, and that was
remember.
it.
I
Maybe
know it
Jonah
had
Ellis
been.
had one too before he got hurt. I want to see us be able to just truly get after him. I mean, they got a good offensive line. They got really good tackles, but we need to push the pile and make Josh Allen's life as miserable as possible. And I think that I think we'll have a really good chance to win.
I always like those like delayed blitzes because if you have Benito and Cooper screaming off the edge and they're not doing like a contain rush, but doing an actual like whip around rush, and then that forces Allen to step up, and then you're sending a guy late as
Yep.
a blitzer, that's where you can really like put some pressure on people. So, I'm sure I hope Vance is working harder on the game plan than he is on his interviews, but
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
same with
it's a lot easier now that you know the opponent, but I'm sure they've put initial install or taken initial notes on everyone, especially after like the morning game when they knew it was going to be, they knew at least two of the opponents instead of like the four of them. So
right.
that might have helped too.
Yeah, yeah, and we're not waiting to see who wins like tomorrow's game or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Josh Allen's got obviously the clutch gene, but there's a guy that wears number 10 that has the clutch gene just as much. So,
100%.
you know,
And man, dude, it's such a good opportunity. Like you talk about like the start of something super special. And I know, but anyone that's watched the show knows me and you are big Bo Nix truthers. And I don't think there's anything that's really going to change that. But like, talk about this opportunity in front of them. Like,
yep.
you have a big game and you win, or you have a game-winning drive in the playoffs against Josh Allen and the Bills. That could be the start of something very, very special right away. So
And
I'm really excited about that.
I'm just praying we're not talking about drops like we have all season long. Like wide receivers, this is your time to shine, dude. Like you have to lock in, help your quarterback out. Like
Yes,
things are not going to be perfect. There's going to be pressure on them. There's going to be a bunch of stuff. Make plays for your quarterback, man. Like block for your other receivers, block for your running backs, pass protect with everything you got. Like, this is why you've like sacrificed so much years and years and years for opportunities to be great in playoffs. So, yeah, the thing that just makes this team that I trust this team is we've been in so many close games that I feel like we're conditioned. Sean always talks about callousing the body, but he's also calloused the mental toughness as well this season with the way that these games have kind of played out. Like even if we get behind, we're not going to panic. Even if we're up, it's not going to be over. You know what I mean? Like I think that this season has been perfect for setting up the mentality of a playoff run as well.
no doubt. No doubt. I think it's been perfect in that sense, in the fact of like you feel calloused, you feel like this team's not going to quit. Even if you get behind, you don't necessarily panic. Glad you mentioned the drops because I understand the final score of last year's playoff game was what 34-10.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling y'all, go
Yep.
watch it. That game was not like it was a close game
Yep.
until the fourth quarter. Like we had 3 drives in a row on third down with terrible drops with guys streaking wide open.
Yep.
That if they catch those, the game's different, man. The game's different. Than Ty Johnson makes a miraculous catch in the end zone, and that's when the floodgates open. But it was not as lopsided of a game as the score showed. I mean, that being the case, we still lost. Let's face it. But as I said, I think you have that game, you get those jitters out, you come into this one with a much different mentality. You know what to expect. And Bo Nix talked about it last week, or when he spoke. I don't know if it was on Thursday of this week or after, but he said he's just really happy that he got that experience last year, and he realized that at the end of the day, it really is just it's higher stakes, but it's still just football. Like there's nothing you don't have to look at it in any kind of different of a light. It's just keep doing what you've been doing all year. So it's gonna be good.
Yeah, and the fact that it is the Bills means they will definitely be watching that tape from last year in the playoffs, and that's the tape they need to watch and look at all of the little mistakes that were made that they absolutely cannot make again.
Yep.
Thank goodness we made the playoffs last year and got the experience. But I think though, like we were like after last year's loss, we were obviously disappointed, but we are like, hey, we're just excited we made the playoffs and we got that experience and that. Now, you were the prey and they were the predator. Now you can flip that narrative. They have to come to you. You had a better season than they did throughout the regular season, and you need to prove why. And if everybody, you don't have excuses except for like maybe some rookies of not understanding what's going to happen. They've all
Yep.
seen it before. So, Pat Bryant, RJ Harvey, those kind of guys, like, don't let the moment be too big for you or anything like that. Like you've proven it all year. Just, two hands over the football and, just play as hard as you possibly can and be smart about everything you do. But yeah, just it's going to be a good matchup, but it comes down to like, look, if the Bills go on the road and beat the Jags, and then they go on the road and they beat us, and then they go on the road and they beat the Patriots or Houston, whoever ends up being, to go to the Super Bowl, they deserve to go to the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
That's a hard thing to do. You know what I
100%.
mean? So
100%.
like whatever is going to happen, like that team will hopefully be the one that the better team will win. So
Yeah.
it
And,
is what
and
it
I'll
is.
tell you, man. Like, obviously, I hope to God we win. But if we lose and I'm gutted and I'm crushed, I will be rooting for the Bills because I've always wanted that franchise to get something. But I hope it's not this year for damn sure. So before we wrap it up, I thought there was a really good question here by Miller Time. This is kind of interesting. I'm curious your thoughts. This is, what, in your opinion, would be a better way to win the Super Bowl? Beating Seattle for a revenge game or beating Caleb Williams, the number 1 pick in the draft, where Bo Nix was taken as a 6th quarterback?
Ooh, that is a good question. I hate both of those. Man, I guess the answer is just yes. I mean, either
Yeah.
one is correct,
Uh-huh.
man. But if I had to choose it, somehow, for whatever reason, my heart says it'd be nicer to beat Seattle for some reason. I don't
For
know
sure.
why.
I hate Seattle, man. I
I
cannot
hate
stand
Seattle
Seattle.
too.
I
Yeah.
hate them. I hate them so much. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's good questions there, man. And yeah, we're gonna make it a short. We're gonna wrap it up here, guys. A shorter video today will obviously be on tomorrow, 8 p.m. horsepower hour to really dive into this game, talk about the other wild card matchups. But Jeremy, any last minute thoughts, man? Anything that you want to let everyone listening know, and also let them know where they can subscribe and follow you on the socials.
Yeah, Broncos Unbridled. You can, that's the handle. And well, yeah, we're horsepower hour tomorrow. But let me ask you real quick, what do you feel your keys of the game, early keys of the game, are going to be?
Oh, I think without a doubt it's got to be stopping the run, but stopping the run in a sense of not being, not like selling out to stop the run, like, because here's the issue that I've always had with the Broncos defense, and why I thought the Jags actually matched up better with the Bills, because we have a better D line. We're really good at stopping the run in that sense. And we're good at stopping the run when our linebackers are involved. But if you're gonna stop the run and you have those linebackers, you have a lot of vulnerabilities there. I thought the Jags have a lot more athleticism at linebacker. They've got some guys that can really fly around and play sideline to sideline a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's like, that's why I talk about Hufanga, because I still want to see them go a little bit lighter in a box, maybe one linebacker, so you don't have to give up so many vulnerabilities and still be able to cover and tackle and stuff on the outside if you need to. But stopping the run is going to be the biggest key to the game, I think, for us, because you make them one dimensional. And I love the way we match up man to man with them. Like, I feel like I don't have much of an issue with, like, as I said, I mean, you want to put Jade Barron on Kincaid or whoever to stop the tight ends like you've been doing. I'm good with that. PS2, I think, should go on Khalil Shakir, no doubt about that. And then, Brandon Cooks has looked really good. I think he can get taken care of, whether he's in the slot by McMillan or on the outside by Riley Moss. So I like the way we match up there. But all of that doesn't mean anything if we can't stop the run and do so, you know, with at least our base defense, right?
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, offensively, I think it really is going to be like, don't turn the ball over. That's going to be a big thing. If we can establish a run, great. They got their vulnerabilities. I think we should try it. I don't really put my eggs in the basket with Sean. Like, he'll try to do other things that are extensions of the run game. But just like last year, I mean, we had an aggressive game plan. We took some deep shots. We hit one to Troy Franklin. We had a lot that were dropped across the middle. I think we're going to have those opportunities, but we need to be very, very strategic with them. And then when you're in the red zone, we have to score touchdowns. That's the biggest thing. When this team was playing at its best, we would stop everybody in the red zone on defense, and we would score touchdowns when we got our opportunities there. So that's going to kind of be initial. But I think there's a lot of key matchups and stuff too there.
Yeah.
But we'll dive into that a little bit more. I'll have a lot of videos because I'll go in and get in like really in depth with both teams and stuff like that. But I was able to like listen to a lot of Jaguars podcast post game reactions. Jags got some really cool, like awesome people on YouTube, so go check them out. Their fan base seems very level headed. It's not like Philadelphia. When I caught a Philadelphia podcast, dude, these people were losing their minds. They were talking fire Sirianni. Fire the offensive coach. I get it. They've been talking about that all year. He's been kind of bad, but I'm like, fire Sirianni, dude. Like, do you know what he's done in his tenure so far? Like his style or hate it. I mean, he's gone to 2 Super Bowls, won one of them, and been to the playoffs every single year. That's insane for me. So, but yeah,
That's just tells you you're like spoiled when you get to the point where you can't take like a playoff loss.
Yeah,
and
people are talking about replace Jalen Hurts. I feel like they've always been a fan base that's out of their mind. I mean, Philly fans are kind of known for that, but this one was like, whoa. Whereas like the Jags were very much like, they were extremely level-headed and logical. They're like, I thought we played well in a lot of areas. It's been a great year. I thought these are the 2 ways that we lost. I thought Josh Allen just ended up ultimately being like Superman, and that was the difference. And it was like, yeah, good takes there. But they gave a lot of really good insight too that I thought was really like informative too, for sure.
Well, I think too, like the Jaguars are kind of going like this, so you're like optimistic about the future if you're a Jags fan, and you're like you have gratitude because you're like, how many? I mean, they have how many years of like not being it, where the Eagles are like defending Super Bowl champions. So like anytime you're a defending Super Bowl champion and you lose, like your season's over, like that's the toughest you can have, because it's like your reign is officially over. So I get it, but like, yeah, I mean, but they also are totally out of their mind in a sense too. But I mean, look, you don't want to see me in the middle, even the middle of a game. Sometimes we're winning that game. I'm out of my mind. So like, I get it, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting because it's like this game is going to, we play better with like the harder the opponent tend to be, right? So there's been a lot of special things that have happened this season for us to go and then lose to the Bills. And maybe, it could happen, but like, I just feel like there's a lot of special things that have happened this year that I don't know. It feels like there's going to be more. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yep.
But it's going to take everybody, and this team loves each other and they play super hard, and they're going to have to, carry that out. And if this is the start of like what you said, of like a legendary run of stacking up and beating teams and doing that. Like we had the drive with Elway, you had, all those things. Like I'm here for it. That's why it's like you can't be ducking people. You can't be scared of who you're going to play. You got to just go, okay, come see it and let's get it. And may the best team win. And I just pray it doesn't come down to something stupid or a referee call or something like that.
Yeah,
like
I know.
just whoever is the
They've been
better
good. They've
team.
been good. They've been good so far this postseason. I mean, they had a couple bad ones, but it has not so far so good with the NFL at least.
But I could tell that the refs wanted the Bills to win that Jags
Yeah,
game.
yeah,
They were marking stuff like, oh, that's a first down. You're like, he wasn't even close to the first down.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. There's
so
always going to be a little bit of that, but
I mean,
luckily
luckily
it
they did
wasn't.
fix it. They did fix it, but like,
Yeah.
I just don't want it to come down to something stupid where we're complaining about that for like 6 months. Like, if
Yeah.
the team win, if the Bills win legitimately, great. Not great, but like, you can handle that. The
Yeah.
Broncos win legitimately. That's what I want. So let's
Yep.
just hope for that type of game.
No doubt. No doubt. Well, we're all going to be here for it, man, and we appreciate everybody that was in the chat. You guys are all dope. Even the Bills fans, even the trolls.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun week to talk about it, and I'm going to try to get with some Bills podcasters, talk about the game, kind of get their perspective. Maybe we'll have some stuff like that on the stream. But
that'd be cool.
Y'all take it easy, man. Enjoy tomorrow night's game, and let's get ready for round 2, baby.
Yep, sounds good.
Go. All right, go Broncos. Peace out, y'all.
Go Broncos.